So we are exploring them. With them. Do I know that lead nitrate on heating gives PbNO2 and oxygen? Do I know that NO2 is a reddish brown gas? When the NO2, which is reddish brown, is cooled, it becomes colorless N2O4. In N2O4, there is a NN bond. Each oxygen is bound to two oxygens. N2O4 is colorless and diamagnetic. N2O4 decomposes to give NO2, that is reddish brown and paramagnetic. Both are in equilibrium. When it is NO2 or N2O4, both mean one and the same. When they dissolve in water, they give two oxyacids of nitrogen, nitric acid, nitrous acid. So NO2 is called mixed anhydride of nitric acid and nitrous acid. This NO2 or N2O4, both are one and the same. When you are adding it with NO and cooling, you get blue color solid called N2O3. N2O3 is known as nitrogen trioxide or nitrogen sesquioxide. If you put this in water, you get nitrous acid. So N2O3 is called anhydride of nitrous acid, nitrous HNO2. N2O3 is anhydride of nitrous acid. N2O5 is anhydride of nitric acid. Nitric acid is a stronger acid than nitrous acid. So this question 171 that appeared on 4th September, first shift, 2020. On heating lead to nitrate, we get a brown gas NO2. The brown gas NO2 on cooling becomes N2O4, which is a colorless solid or liquid. The N2O4 on heating with NO changes to a blue color N2O3. N2O3 is known as nitrogen trioxide or sesquioxide. When the N2O3 dissolves in water, you get a nitrous. Therefore, this N2O3 is known as an anhydride of nitrous acid. In N2O3, nitrogen is in +3 state. Answer to 171 is C. Are we very clear about it, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The metal A on heating in nitrogen gives a compound. Notice the metals which can react with nitrogen are belonging to any group other than one group. 1A group, namely sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium, they do not combine with nitrogen. They can't give nitrites. Only in first group, lithium can combine with nitrogen to give lithium nitrite because it has a diagonal relation with magnesium. So in first group, other than lithium, no other metal can react with nitrogen to give nitrite. Therefore, a metal A on heating with nitrogen gives a compound B, means it cannot be sodium, it cannot be potassium, it cannot be rubidium, it cannot be cesium, it cannot be francium. So it can be any other metal. That metal on heating with nitrogen gave compound B. B on treatment with water, any nitrite, whether it is aluminum nitride, magnesium nitride, calcium nitride, lithium nitride, any nitride when reacts with water gives ammonia, which is a colorless gas. To prove that the gas coming out is ammonia, you pass it through copper sulfate solution. Copper sulfate solution gives a deep blue color solution with ammonia. So obviously the metal A cannot be sodium and the compound must be metal nitride. It cannot be anything else. It should be metal nitride. A is not possible. B, it can be magnesium and magnesium nitride. Yes. C, it can be magnesium but can't be magnesium nitrate. You don't get nitrate when a metal is heated with nitrogen in the absence of air. You get only nitride, not nitrate. C is wrong, D is wrong, A is wrong. It should be only B. Are we very clear about it?
Yes, sir. Very clear.
Hello.
Clear, sir.
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Question number 168 that appeared on 2nd September in the first shift. On heating a compound, A gives a gas B, which is a constituent of air. So air has three important constituents, namely oxygen, nitrogen, a little bit carbon dioxide. Other than that, noble gases don't react, so you can ignore them. So A gives a gas B, which is a constituent of air. So it must be either nitrogen or oxygen. This gas, when treated with hydrogen in the presence of a catalyst, gives another gas. Notice that hydrogen can react with oxygen to give water, but at room temperature, water is a liquid. Hydrogen can react with nitrogen to give ammonia. At room temperature, ammonia is a gas. So it is likely the gas is nitrogen. The other gas C must be ammonia. Now, who is giving nitrogen gas on heating? Any azide, barium azide, sodium azide, potassium azide, anything that has N3 minus ions like A can give nitrogen. Ammonium dichromate on heating give nitrogen and Cr2O3. C can give nitrogen. D can definitely give nitrogen because NH4NO2 gives N2 or 2H2. So ACD can give nitrogen. So it should not be lead nitrate because lead nitrate cannot give nitrogen on heating.
It will give
Answer is
N2.
it should not be B. Are you clean about it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Are you clean about it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
These are the questions from exemplar problem from nitrogen phosphorus family. Which of the following statement is wrong? Single NN bond is stronger than single PP bond. Is it true or false?
False. False, sir.
False.
NO2 is paramagnetic in nature. True or false?
True.
True.
True. Covalence
True,
of
sir.
nitrogen N2O5 is 4. True or false?
True, sir.
True.
True.
True, sir.
Because nitrogen can never make more than 4 bonds, of course.
Yes, sir.
pH3 can act as a ligand in the formation of coordination compound with the transition. True, because it has a lone pair. Anybody who has a lone pair can make complex compounds. It can act as ligand. Can you answer question number 15?
Option 3, sir.
A brown ring
Option-
is formed in the ring test for nitrate,
Option 3.
and it is due to the formation of. No, option 3 is wrong. You got
Option A.
-1 mark. Option
sir.
1 is right. You got pentaquanate sodium iron 1 sulfate. Question number 16, element of 15th group formed.
Option
plus
2,
by
sir.
oxygen. The compound is what? Only with the most
BiFi.
electronegative fluorine it can give BiFi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay,
Can you answer question number 17?
1, sir. Option 1.
Both on
Something
heating
both.
separately gives nitrogen gas. Question number 18, in
Both
the
cases.
preparation of nitric acid, we get question number 18. Can we try, sir?
2 moles. Sir, 2 moles of NH3 will be found.
2 moles of ammonia will give obviously 2 moles. What is the surprise in that? The oxygen state of central atom in the anion NaH2PO2. What is the anion?
Plus 1.
H2PO2 minus. The phosphorus is in +1 state.
Yes, sir.
They are called hypophosphites. Notice NaH2PO2 is not an acylic salt. It cannot give any more H+. This question number 20 is from chemical bond. Which of the following is not tetrahedral chain? Ammonia is tetrahedral.
SF4.
SiCl4 is tetrahedral. SF4 is CISA because it has a lone pair of electrons on sulfur. All others are AB4 with no lone pair. on central atom. Only SF4 is AB4 with one lone pair. Because sulfur is in sixth group, it has 6 electrons. Out of 6, it used 4 to make 4 bonds. So there is a lone pair. AB4 with a lone pair undergo sp3d hybridization and it is seesaw in shape. Can you say, look at the question number 30 and say the answer? In P4, there are 4 phosphorus atoms and there are 6 PP bonds. Each P
Sir,
is
it has
making
4
3 bonds.
but
Each
bond.
P also has one lone pair. So there are 4 lone pairs. So first option is wrong. In P4, each P has only one lone pair. There are 4 lone
Yes.
pairs. First is wrong option. Now he is asking you correct statement. So first is wrong. It has 6 PP single bonds is true. It has 3
True.
PP single bonds is wrong. It has 4 lone pairs of electrons is true. So 2 and 4 are correct statements. Can we see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for seeing that, sir. We are looking at question number 33. Sir, in nitric acid, do you remember the NO bond lengths? Gen double bond O's are of equal length, but the O that is connecting hydrogen and nitrogen is longer. So all the NO bond lengths in HNO3 are equal. Is right or wrong?
Wrong.
It's wrong. What about second option? All PCl bond lengths in PCl5 in gaseous state are identical. Is it true or false?
True.
False, sir.
Dirty dog, idiot, brainless fellow. You have
Sorry.
not seen the PCl5 structure, right? That's our problem.
Sorry.
This is axial bonds are longer, equatorial
sir.
bonds are shorter, and it is trigonal bipyramid. It is the structure of your PCl5. These are called axial bonds. These are called equatorial bonds. Equatorial bonds are shorter, axial bonds are longer. Therefore, this is wrong. Statement B is wrong. Yes or no?
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Why you have not practiced this structure of PCl5? What about statement 3? Statement 3 is perfect. In P4, the PPP angle is only 60 degrees. There is a tremendous strain due to that acute angle. So that's called angular strain that makes P4 highly reactive. In red phosphorus, it is a polymeric material. There is no such angular strain. Therefore, red phosphorus is stable, whereas white or yellow phosphorus is highly reactive. So third statement is true. What about fourth statement, sir?
Sir, option 3.
The printer's devil is there in fourth option. PCl5 is an ionic solid in which there is PCl4 plus, which is tetrahedral, PCl6 minus, which is octahedral. There is a printer's devil. You have to rectify it. But how to correct it? PCl5 in solid state. It is tetrahedral. It is octahedral. This phosphorus is sp3. This is sp3d2. Therefore, fourth one is correct if there is no printer's mistake. Are we very clear? Hello. Are we very clear?
Yes, sir.
It is tetrahedral. It is octahedral. It is sp3. It is sp3d2. It is a cation. It's a anion. So we will go to next question. Can you answer question number 39, 40, 41, 42, 43? 40 to 43, have any doubts, you see? 40 to 43, 4 questions. You have to
Sir,
take your paper, write down the answers using your book if you want. Yes, sir. Answer to question number 40 is pyrophosphoric acid.
H4P2O5, sir.
It is a tetrabasic acid with one POP bond. Can you see it clearly? It is
Yes.
obtained by gently heating phosphoric acid. Thank you very much for doing this. Next question. PH3 forms bubbles when passed slowly in water. Because PH3 is not soluble in water, it cannot make hydrogen bonds.
Yes, sir.
Ammonia can happily make hydrogen bonds, so it will happily dissolve in water. Question number 42. PCl5 phosphorus is in sp3 dihybridized state, but all its 5 bonds are not equal in
Double
length,
bond will be longer, sir. due to
because 2
repulsion.
are longer axial bonds and 3 are shorter equatorial bonds. SF6 is known. Hello. Wait. I'll just mute that. All of you try to answer the question number 41, 42, and 43. And if you have doubt, you get me back. Okay. These
Okay, sir.
questions I am putting 41, 42, 43. Are we very clear? Try them. You have to try. Okay. Hello. How you doing? నాకు కాదురా అసలు గోడ పాల్గొట్టమో నాకే తెలియదు. అసలు ఏం చేస్తామో నాకే తెలియదు. నాకు ఆ ఇంట్లో నేను మొక్కలు వేస్తాను అంతే. నాకు ఇంకేం అక్కర్లా. ఆ మొక్కలు ఐ కెన్ ఎఫోర్డ్. దాన్ని నేను భారీ నాకు ఆ ఇల్లు రైల్లో కావచ్చు, రైల్లో పోవచ్చు. ఇదిగో శైలశ్రీ ఉంది అక్కడ. శైలశ్రీ ఇంకోసారి మాట్లాడతాను. శైలశ్రీ నువ్వు నీకు ఇబ్బంది లేదంటే ఒక పని చేస్తాను. మరి నీ గూగుల్ పే డబ్బులు పంపిస్తాను, మనిషిని పంపిస్తాను, వాడు చేయించేది ఉండొద్దు. లేదా వాడికి మనకి 25 రేపు శనివారం బాగుంది, లేదా ఆదివారం బాగుంది. ఆ బాగుంది కూడా కొంచెం ఒక రూమ్ ఖాళీ చేసి ఇచ్చి ఆ వేళ పూర్తి చేసుకుని ఎంటర్ అవుతాం. వాడిని నిదానం 30 కాల్ చేస్తే మొత్తం తీసుకున్నాం. చేయట్లేదా అని చేయాలి. ఆవిడే చెప్పింది నాకు ఈ ఐడియాలకి. మీకు మంచి రోజు ఏంటమ్మా అంటే 28 నుంచి అర్థం కాదు పని చెప్పు. అసలు అలా మనం ఫస్ట్ నుంచే జాయిన్ అయినట్టు లెక్క. అలా కాదు, మాకు మంచి రోజు అని పాలు పొంగించుకుని వదిలేస్తాము. ఆవిడే చెప్పింది ఐడియా. ఈ ఐడియా ఆవిడే చన్నమ్మగా ఏముంది మహా ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేస్తే ఇంకో 1000 రూపాయలు ఇంతే ఇద్దాం. హలో.
Yes, sir.
Hello. You got the
Yes,
answer to this question?
Yes, sir. Got, sir.
43 is why nitric acid is paramagnetic, nitric oxide is paramagnetic gaseous state, but the salt. Hello.
Yes, sir.
This is the question number 43. Nitric oxide NO2. Nitrogen is having 5 electrons. Out of 5, it is using 4 to make bonds with 2 oxygens. So it has 1 electron. Because NO2 has 1 unpaired electron, it is paramagnetic. On
Yes, sir.
cooling, this NO2 combines with another NO2 that also has an unpaired electron. These two make a bond. So in solid state, it becomes N2O4, which is a colorless solid and a diamagnetic. Because in N2O4, there is no unpaired electron. It is like this. In N2O4, there is no unpaired electron. Therefore, N2O4 is diamagnetic. Whereas NO2 is paramagnetic because it has an unpaired electron. Are we clean?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Clean.
Next we look at. Out of H2O and H2S, which one has a higher bond angle and why? It is a very general question. In any group, say 14th group, you take a 15th group, you take 16th group. The first element makes a hydride, say in 15th group NH3 ammonia. The second element makes another hydride, say PH3. As you are going down in any group with hydrides, the first element uses hybrid orbitals, bond angles are wide. The second element onwards, as you are going down in the hydrides, bond angles drop. In PH3, bond angle is very close to 90 degrees. Whereas in NH3, bond angle is 107 degrees. Similarly, in 16th group, H2O bond angle is 104 degrees 30 minutes. Whereas in H2S, bond angle is very close to 90 degrees. As the size of the central atom increases, the bond angle between the hydrides decreases down a group. Another way of looking at it is the first element uses hybrid orbitals. The second element onwards I use pure orbitals. Between pure p orbitals, bond angle is 90. So answer is they have closely 90 degrees. So out of H2 and H2S, which one has higher bond angle? Water has higher bond angle. Why? In water, oxygen uses sp3 hybrid orbitals. So the bond angle will be wider. It is not exactly 109 degrees 28 minutes. It is only 104 degrees because of two locations. In H2S, sulfur is using pure orbitals for bonding. Therefore, bond angle is close to only 90. Are we very clear? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can see the answer suggested by the National Testing Agency. All of you should try to answer all the questions given in this. Now, really, I am investing time because you are not doing. See the answer given. NH3 forms hydrogen bonds with water, therefore it is soluble. Okay. Look at 45. The bond angle of H2A is larger because oxygen is more electronegative than sulfur. Therefore, bond pair electrons of OH bond will be closer to oxygen, and there will be more bond pair repulsion between bond pairs of two oxygen. All this appears to be unnecessary prolongation. I would say
Yes,
in
sir.
water, bond angle is wider because oxygen is using sp3 hybrid orbitals. The two lone pairs will compress the bond angle to 104 degrees. When you come to H2S, the bigger sulfur is actually using pure p orbitals. Therefore, the lone pair repulsions are nothing there. The bond angle is close to 90 degrees. Okay. So, we are looking at some other questions. All of you try to answer all the questions from 15th group using this.
Yes, sir.
I am showing you some model questions here and there. This book I have already forwarded to you. Did I forward or not?
You forwarded, sir.
Forward
So I want you to try answer all these questions.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we have to go to the next group, that is 16th group. We have practically completed the 15th group. Do you have any doubt?
No, sir.
No, actually, we will be now quickly exploring the 16th group. The 16th group contains oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium as elements. Oxygen is available in air as O2 and also as ozone in upper zone of atmosphere. Sulfur is available as a C8 in earth crust in some places, but by and large it is available as a ore in the form of, say, sodium sulfate, FeSO4, sometimes as CuFeS2. Most of the time it is a component of so many ores. Most of these elements, even oxygen, is available in the form of ores. Because these elements are frequently found as a part of ores and minerals from which metals can be extracted, they are called ore-forming elements or chalcogens. What they are called, sir? What do you mean by chalcogen? Chalcogen means ore-forming element. Why they are called ore-forming elements? Because most of the ores are formed by these elements. What is a ore? Ore is a naturally occurring compound of elements from which metals can be extracted profitably. It is a ore. It is another ore called fool's gold. And it is a ore called hematite. It is a ore called calcia. It is a ore called magnesia. It is a ore called bauxite. From all these ores, you can extract a typical metal, but they contain oxygen. Most of the ores are made by these elements, and they are called ore-forming elements or chalcogens. Chalco. Are we very clear why they are called chalcogens? Hello?
Yes, sir.
The oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, all they have NS2, NP, 4 electronic configuration in the valence shell. Their valence electron configuration NS2, NP4, where N is equal to 2 for oxygen, 3 for sulfur, 4 for selenium, 5 for tellurium, 6 for polonium. What is that? the oxygen, which is having 2s2, 2p4 electrons, is a gaseous element, and it is able to make double bonds with itself and other atoms. These double bonds are called p-pi bonds. This ability to make p-pi bonds is not there for other elements. Sulfur also makes some double bonds, but they are not p-pi bonds, they are d-pi bonds, because sulfur has empty d orbitals. Always the first element behaves differently from the rest because of the small size, high electronegativity, absence of d orbitals. Due to these three reasons, always first element of any group behaves differently from the rest, known as anomalous behavior. Coming back to properties, down a group atomic radii always increase, here also increase. Down a group densities always increase, here also increase. Down a group metallic nature always increases, here also increases. So all these are facts. Down a group stability of hydrides, they make hydrides like H2O, H2S, H2SC, H2P. Down a group, the stability of hydrides decrease, here also decrease. Down a group, reducing power of the hydrides increase, here also increase. Down a group, water solubility of hydrides greatly drop, here also drops. So all other things are equal, but oxygen is somewhat special. One most important thing is the electron gain enthalpy value, means the energy released when an electron is added is highest for sulfur, then selenium, tellurium, polonium. So oxygen has least electron gain enthalpy. This least negative. Negative means release. The released energy is least for oxygen when it gains electron. It is so because oxygen atom is very small. The added electrons will be repelled by existing electrons. So oxygen has lowest electron gain enthalpy. This is an exception that is to be noticed. So these are the general trends of the family. We can very quickly scan them. I think our time is ticking away, so we should be smart enough to cover this as much as we can today. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the 16th group. Do you know most abundant element in earth crust is oxygen? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I know that. Epsom salt is MgSO47S2O. There is a Epsom lake in London. They think that people of London are very intelligent because they drink water of Epsom lake. Of course, it is up to them. Zinc blend is ZNS, copper pyrite CCFeS2. All these are ores. Gypsum is CaSO42S2. All the ores generally contain these elements. Selenium and tellurium are also found in metal selenites and tellurides. Polonium occurs in nature as a decay product of thorium in uranium minerals like U3O8. As I said, they have NH2NP4 configuration. You can see the table, how the atomic radii, they increase down, the ionization energies drop down. Electron gain enthalpy, sulfur is highest than all others. Electronegativity of oxygen is highest. As you go down, electronegativity is decrease. Why the 16th group elements, oxygen, sulfur, have lower ionization energy than neighboring 15th group elements, nitrogen, phosphorus? Because 15th group elements like nitrogen, phosphorus have exactly half-filled p orbitals. They are very stable. They require higher energy or loss.
Yes, sir.
So they have extra electron, they can be easily removed. About physical properties, you can read the trends. Only polonium is we are not studying because it is very, very unstable due to high radioactivity, whose half-life is 13.8 days. It means if you take 1 kg polonium, in 13.8 days, it becomes half kg. The loss of weight due to radiations is called radioactivity. We don't study about polonium due to its short half-life. The chemical properties, these elements of 16th group, like oxygen, they readily take electrons from others, so they are good oxidizing agents. They mostly prefer to form covalent compounds, but if somebody is a dirty rogue, if somebody easily loses electrons, they don't mind to make ionic compounds by gaining 2 electrons. Students should observe the trends in the table. They need to observe how the things are going down. The table is important. You should study yourself. For example, ionization enthalpy is highest for oxygen, and it is going down, and it is least for the polonium. Ionization energy is smoothly dropping down, no exception. Electron gain enthalpy is highest for sulfur. Minus 200 means 200 kilojoules of energy is released when an electron is added. Minus sign indicates energy release. Energy release is highest for sulfur and least for oxygen. Should observe the table. Common oxygen states of these elements are highest 6 for sulfur because it has empty d orbitals. Its covalency can go up. Oxygen can never show any covalency more than 4. It can't make more than 4 bonds. Oxygen cannot make more than 4 bonds, but all other elements can make 6 bonds. The oxidation states are -2, -1, 1 + 2 only for oxygen. For others, the oxidation states are wider. Polonium never prefers the oxidation state of 6 because of inner pair effect. Hello, are you there? Hello?
Yes.
All of you read up to anomalous behavior of oxygen today. Tomorrow we will be working out the hydrates. This weekend syllabus we have up to hydrates, but this week I am going to complete this chapter. I will go a bit fast. We talk about how oxygen is prepared. I want you to complete this chapter if you can. Up to sulfur, at least you complete. Now your doubts.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Why is boiling point of tellurium higher than polonium in that table?
Don't ask me why. These are facts. Physical properties are like melting point, boiling points. Depends on the way atoms are packed. The variation in packing can cause variation in melting points. Moreover, polonium is radioactive and very unstable. So don't worry about it.